Generally from about the dates of 2020 to 2050. So that's going to be including everything that we see today from an AI perspective. We're going to be talking about AI's involvement in democratizing creativity and content creation. We're going to be talking about AI's involvement basically with healthcare, all sorts of different industries. And then we're going to start fast forwarding it out basically to a future where increasingly artificial intelligence is going to be based on DNA and biology than binary and neural networks that we see today. Well, I suppose basically on the one hand, you've got two. So artificial intelligence is getting increasingly good at helping us create new materials and new compounds, basically, which we could always use to help, on the one hand, improve our environment, but also help combat climate change. So an example of that is artificial intelligence being used to create new metal organic frameworks which suck huge amounts of carbon dioxide out of the air. That's a sort of crazy one. The other sort of obvious benefit is healthcare, where artificial intelligence is able to pick up a whole variety of different patterns, both physical and mental. So for example, you take artificial intelligence, combine it with a microphone on your smartphone, and you can now start diagnosing PTSD in seconds. So there's lots and lots of different sort of healthcare applications, and that's probably one of the most exciting from a human perspective, and then from an environmental perspective, the first one. Yeah, so there's two fears naturally that people have. On the one hand, artificial intelligence is going to take my job, and AI is going to take some jobs. It's also going to create a lot of others. However, that's one of the sort of freakiest and spookiest uses of artificial intelligence that I've seen at the moment has been related to the development of artificial intelligent robots and weapons, so hunter-killer robots and everything else. However, if we sort of move one step on from there, as different countries like China, Russia, and America develop hypersonic weapons, that shortens the time that it takes for a system to identify a threat and neutralize it. So as a consequence, Russia and the US are now proposing dead-hand artificial intelligence systems that can automatically release nuclear weapons, basically in the case that higher command basically has been wiped out, or in the case basically that humans simply can't react fast enough to these new hypersonic missiles. So on the one hand, basically we have a utopia where we're saving the environment and we are helping everybody live longer. On the other hand, we're also helping us kill ourselves faster. When you have a look at that, basically there are a lot of people that sort of think that on the one hand, technology is going to be in us. Now, I always posit basically that from a cultural perspective, most people aren't going to want to be chipped. If I say to you, you can go and get connected to an AI, but you need a chip in your head, you're probably going to sort of run away from me. So we see a lot of improvements in non-invasive brain-machine interfaces that will help us interface natively with artificial intelligences, access the power base of hive minds and all kinds of crazy things without having to be chipped. Some people would inevitably be chipped because they want to be, that's it, but for the rest of us that don't want to be chipped, if we do want access to these hive mind systems, these kind of Borg-like systems, the power of AI in the cloud, there's another way. So there's a whole variety of things happening in the construction industry. So on the one hand, when you put artificial intelligence into things like geospatial mapping drones, where you can create fully autonomous construction sites, we have AIs that are now designing homes, cities, and communities. So for example, some of these AIs are now starting to design skyscrapers. When you combine those designs with 3D printing, all of a sudden you can print buildings much more sustainably than ever before, less waste. You can design different buildings. In addition to that, when we start having a look at things like facilities management systems, energy management systems, if you apply artificial intelligence to, say, for example, a blockchain energy distributed system, you can get savings of about 20%, so think connected home as well. So artificial intelligence basically is already going to be very, very prevalent basically within the construction industry, the real estate industry, let alone helping us find our ideal homes when we're actually coming to buy them. So 311 basically is a global think tank that I founded. So we go between the dates of 2020 and 2070. So we call anything beyond 20 years as deep futures. And the reason why we go beyond 20 years, so we go 0 to 20 and then 20 to 50, is because we deal with a lot of G7 governments around the world. And if you're looking at the future of infrastructure, the future of healthcare, transportation, jobs, skills, education, all kinds of things, energy, typically most governments want to go 20 years and out. Whereas from a multinational perspective, typically most multinationals and individuals care more about the next 5 to 10 years. They might stretch to 20 years, but at that point that's just more of an interest and a sort of bit of a point of view. And so far basically we're revolutionizing industries, which has sort of been a real trippy journey, frankly. So we work with organizations like Legal & General, who have over $1.2 trillion under asset. Basically, as we start seeing the death of shareholder primacy, where shareholders come first, that's a very interesting sort of model. Working with organizations like Centrica, basically, who are fundamentally reinventing basically the European energy systems. So that's been a really sort of weird journey to even start on, thinking that we can actually change industries basically from the top down. But yeah, we're getting there. Education as well. We're helping educate over 10 million children and prepare them for the future now, because increasingly, when you have a look at today's industrial education systems, they just aren't prepared. So we're moving the dial on a lot of things, basically, but there's always a lot more to do.
Great.